1800 hours, Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Aisha Nayab. First, the headlines. Prime Minister has expressed the determination to take every possible measure to promote growth ratio and investment in the country. National Command and Operations Centre has urged the masses to again display good example of social behaviour and follow the coronavirus SOPs in letter and spirit. Foreign Minister says Pakistan is desirous to increase volume of bilateral trade and enhance cooperation in diverse fields with Kuwait. Army Chief says the process of subcontinent reapproachment will always remain susceptible to derailment without resolution of Kashmir dispute through peaceful means. In Afghanistan, 8 militants and 2 Afghan security forces personnel were killed during clashes in Badakhshan province today. Leaders of different Palestinian parties have reiterated legal and political unity of the Palestinian territories and necessity for the elections. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan has expressed the determination to take every possible measure to promote growth ratio and investment in the country. He was chairing a review meeting regarding progress and promotion of priority areas for economic stability and development in Islamabad today. The Prime Minister said promotion of small and medium industry will accelerate the economic process and create wealth in the country. He said this will not only strengthen economy, create jobs and better opportunities for the youth, but also help retrying of country's debt. He said the country can only be brought out of the quagmire of debts taken by the previous government by increasing country's production, and the government is determined to provide every possible facility to the business community and investors to achieve this objective. Imran Khan directed to remove all impediments through time-bound targets in the way of business process. Prime Minister Imran Khan has expressed the commitment to uplift the weak and underprivileged segments of the society. He was addressing a ceremony in connection with allotment of houses and flats to working class under Naya Pakistan housing program. The Prime Minister said it is very difficult for the salaried class, workers and labourers to construct or purchase a house in the cities due to soaring prices of land. He said the government has started Naya Pakistan housing program with a new mindset to provide support to these segments of the society to own a house. Imran Khan said the government has introduced a legislation under which the banks will provide loans on 5% interest rate for the construction of houses. He directed the State Bank of Pakistan to ensure that these loans are easily available to the people. Later, talking to media, the Prime Minister said master plans are being prepared for the big cities, which will encourage vertical construction. He also announced to launch a plan next month regarding food security. The Prime Minister said a struggle has been waged against the land grabbers. He pointed out that 200 billion rupees of land has been recovered in Punjab from the land mafia. Prime Minister Imran Khan has reiterated to fast-track the legislation to criminalize enforced disappearance, along with whatever other laws need to be amended. According to Minister for Human Rights, Dr. Shri Mazari's tweet, the Prime Minister expressed this resolve during a meeting with 3 members of Balochistan's missing person in Islamabad today. The trio represents the 13 families of the last month's sit-in in Islamabad. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister tasked his Principal Secretary to ascertain quickly the exact status of the missing family members and committed to update the committee members on the progress in this regard. National Command and Operations Centre expressing serious concern over gross violations of standard operating procedures against COVID-19 has asked the provincial administration to ensure swift action for ensuring adherence to safety guidelines. The NCOC meeting held in Islamabad today with Minister for Planning and Development Asad Umar in the chair expressed serious concern over rising disease trend and mortality rate. Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi says that Pakistan is desirous to increase the volume of bilateral trade with Kuwait. He was talking to his Kuwaiti counterpart, Sheikh Dr. Ahmed Nasir Al Mohammed Al Sabah, who called on him in Islamabad today. The Foreign Minister said, "We are looking forward to the early convening of 5th Joint Ministerial Commission between Pakistan and Kuwait." Shah Mahmood Qureshi said there are vast opportunities for cooperation between the two countries in the areas of energy, technology, health, education and defense. He said Pakistan has transformed its geopolitical priorities into geo-economic priorities. The Foreign Minister said Pakistan is facilitating the foreign investment in different sectors of economy, and we also welcome Kuwaiti investment in the country. The Foreign Minister also apprised the Kuwaiti counterpart about the prevailing situation in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. He said India has brought controversial legislation to change the demographic structure of the disputed territory. He said Pakistan is looking towards positive role of the world community, including Kuwait, to get free the oppressed Kashmiri people from the cruel Indian clutches. Fifth round of bilateral political consultations between Pakistan and Cuba was held via video conference. Additional Secretary Faisal Niaz Tumazi and Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of Cuba, Ms. Anancia Rudecro Comech, led the respective delegations. During the consultation, a wide range of bilateral and regional and multilateral matters of mutual interest were discussed. The two sides agreed to enhance high-level exchanges. This is Radio Pakistan. Chief of Army Staff General Qamar Javed Bajwa has said that Pakistan is ready to resolve all outstanding disputes with its neighbour through dialogue in a dignified and peaceful manner. He was addressing Islamabad Security Dialogue in the federal capital today. The Army Chief, however, stressed that this choice is deliberate and based on rationality and not as a result of any pressure. General Qamar Javed Bajwa said it is time that synergies are created in South Asia through connectivity, peaceful coexistence and resource sharing to fight hunger, illiteracy and disease instead of fighting each other. The Army Chief said stable Indo-Pak relation is a key to unlock the untapped potential of South and Central Asia by ensuring connectivity between East and West Asia. He said without resolution of Kashmir dispute through peaceful means, process of subcontinent reapproachment will always remain susceptible to derailment due to politically motivated velocity. He said it is time to bury the past and move forward. Speaking on the occasion, Special Assistant on National Security Division and Strategic Policy Planning, Mueed Yusuf said expansion in the political diplomacy is of vital importance for the economic development. He said we are also working on the policy with regard to the economic sector. He said there is a need to expose those who are involved in negative propaganda against Pakistan. Protest broke out at the Wagah border on the Indian side after dozens of Kashmiris, including students and travellers, barred by the Indian authorities from visiting Pakistan despite possessing all travel and other legal documents. All the people who were scheduled to visit Pakistan in Azad Jammu and Kashmir were stopped and disallowed by the Indian authorities to crossing over. In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, senior Hurriyat leader Professor Abdul Ghani Bhatt has stressed the need for settlement of the Kashmir dispute through a sustained dialogue process between Pakistan and India in the interest of peace in the region. Talking to people during his visit to Rafiabad in Baramulla, he said that the lingering Kashmir dispute has attained a central stage in the changing political scenario at the global level. In Afghanistan, at least 8 militants and 2 Afghan security forces personnel were killed during clashes in Abkhura area of North Badakhshan province today. Talking to media, Chief of Barak District Abdul Halim Hamdard said that 5 soldiers and 5 militants were also wounded in the conflict. Earlier, 9 people were killed when an Afghan Air Force helicopter crashed in eastern Wardak province today. According to the Ministry of Defense, 4 Q and 5 Afghan National Army soldiers were killed in the crash. Leaders of different Palestinian factions have agreed to strengthen national partnership during second round of 2-day intra-national dialogue held in Cairo. According to an official statement, they reiterated the legal and political unity of the Palestinian territories and the necessity for the election in the East Jerusalem, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip. And finally, the weather. Dry weather is expected in mostly plain areas of the country during the next 12 hours. However, light rain with thunderstorm is expected at isolated places in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, northeast Balochistan, and Gilgit-Baltistan. And that is the end of the news. For more news and analysis, log on to our website radio.gov.pk and also watch live video streaming of our bulletin on the Facebook link Radio Pakistan News Official.